Hello and welcome to the 80sist, the podcast that uses your votes to determine the most totally 80s song ever to blare from the tinny speakers of a canary yellow Walkman. In the heart of rock and roll, Cleveland, Ohio, I'm Keith Marsteller. And joining me from Seattle is the creator of the 80sist, my longtime friend and co-host, Joe Wack. Hey Joe, how's it going, man?
You just gotta learn to go with the heat, Rico. It's just like life. You just gotta keep telling yourself, no matter how hot it gets, sooner or later there's a cool breeze coming in.
That is good to know because it is getting hot in this studio right now. So
Oh boy.
a little breeze.
You know, I had a realization just now.
What's that?
And that is, I do not have a good Don Johnson impression in my pocket. I just
No. Yeah,
No.
what would it be? Like, what's the thing that you exaggerate about him? The gravelly part?
I went with gravelly. But that wasn't it. I mean, because he's also got that, that kind of a little bit, tiny bit of a twang.
Yeah.
He's a little twangy.
Yeah, he can definitely portray the Southern gentleman with the twang.
Yeah.
I feel that all the way.
Yep.
But it's not bad though. Not bad.
It wasn't good.
Well, listen, today we are here to discuss the 8th and final matchup in our first round.
It's been a long time coming.
Of the movie region. That's right. And that is in all Miami Vice Festival. Pitt's 2 seed In the Air Tonight by Phil Collins against 15 seed Miami Vice Theme by Jan Hammer.
Jan?
That's right.
Hammer?
Who is not German. He sounds...
Get the fuck out of here.
In our last thing, we found out Harold Faltermeyer, who sounds American, is German.
I remember that. Almost as if we recorded it 10 minutes ago.
Almost as though it just happened, not days ago. But Jan Hammer is like Eastern European, like Czech or something.
Okay.
Anyway.
All right.
And for a minute, I was confusing him with Jan Wenner, the asshole at the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Different guy.
Different guy. Although Jan Hammer might be a dick too. We
don't know. I mean, we're not endorsing him.
No, but you know what we do know?
What's that?
We know this. In the Air Tonight itself was released January 9th, 1981, but was a massive hit on the premiere of the TV show Miami Vice, released on September 16th, 1984.
I remember it well. I saw that episode. It was a 2-hour pilot, which is kind of rare, I think.
2 hours of Vice.
Yeah. They needed time to build up that tension so that In the Air Tonight could really hit, you know?
Yeah.
Now, Miami Vice theme is, of course, the actual theme song for Miami Vice, the TV show.
Right.
And so it was played several minutes, maybe hours earlier on the same day in 1984.
Wow.
And so, though, if you were a huge Phil Collins fan, you already knew this song, and you were like, yeah, that's old hat. That's a 3-year-old song.
Yeah.
But for a lot of Americans, they got introduced to In the Air during that big, tension-filled scene on their way to the big bust or whatever.
Keith, do you think a lot of people were big Phil Collins fans before this?
I don't know. I mean, Genesis. He was in Genesis.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah.
But really?
I was probably unaware of him before this.
I was absolutely unaware of him, as I think were probably a lot of other people. Because before this, there was a jacket required.
That's true.
It was only after this.
Only after this was no jacket required, no members-only jacket required. So let's do the thing that we do.
Yes.
Which is listen to a little bit of each song to get some flavor.
Play that shit.
And so 2 seed In the Air Tonight will sound a little bit like this.
Oh, it's starting off moody.
It really is.
This is not a bouncy tune.
It really isn't. I've got a factoid later to talk about the mood of the song.
Awesome.
I know you love the toids.
Dude, who doesn't love a toid?
We could be waiting a while for just a word from Phil here.
Oh, yeah, no. There's like a good 10 minutes of ominous.
why it worked so well in the Miami Vice scene.
There's lots of time for them to be, cruising on a boat somewhere?
And contemplative, yeah.
Yeah.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight.
So can we, Phil.
Oh, Lord. And I've been waiting for this moment for all my life. Oh, Lord. Can you feel it coming in the air tonight? Oh, Lord. Oh, Lord.
All right, so that's a taste of that mood setting.
Because, they start you off with a free taste.
And then they
keep you coming back
you're
for
hooked.
more.
Then
That's
it's
right.
over.
That's right.
Now, in almost complete musical contrast to that soulful,
Absolutely.
slow, kind of, contemplative,
Dangerous.
total contrast to that, 180 degrees the other direction, Jan Hammer writes this Miami Vice theme. Which is an instrumental.
Yeah. Can I just say, I think it's more than 100. I think it's like a 440 degree. Because it goes all the way around and then another half.
And then keeps going.
That's right. Oh my goodness.
So I'm playing the balls to the wall television version that has to sneak all of the good parts into 55 seconds.
Wow.
And there's a...
It's condensed. Is what you're saying.
That's right.
Like soup.
And so basically, the song's over now, so I'm going to let it finish. Man, remember when TV theme songs used to be longer than 3 seconds?
Oh, yeah.
Now it's like 4 notes, because people will just skip it anyway.
That's true. They just hit skip intro, boom, boom,
Yeah.
boom, boom, boom.
So
Not
there you
me.
go. Those are two. And there's another version of Miami Vice. Jan released like a 2.5-minute radio edit of it. So I know we both have thoughts about the song, and they include both versions. So, when you start talking about later, like, hey, give me something at 2 minutes into the song, and they're going to be like, well, it was only 50 seconds. What's wrong with Joe? He'll be talking about the other one.
That's right.
Yeah. So, first of all,
Yeah.
thoughts on this is the new thing we're kind of talking about. Do you like the songs or hate the songs, or where do you come out on these songs? In the Air Tonight. Let's discuss that first.
So, can I just say,
Yeah.
I found myself very, very surprised because, I don't know, like a lot of people I know, I have, over the course of my life, been fairly dismissive of Phil Collins. And listening to this song repeatedly for this project, I have to say, I really like this song.
That's good. Okay.
I haven't listened to it in a very, very long time, but I like this song a lot.
Oh, excellent. All right.
Yeah.
I'm in that camp with you. I think it's a great 80s tune. Yeah, I like it as a mood setter. It does a great job. We'll talk about it.
Yeah.
Of building up tension and then relieving that tension to not make it sound sexual, but resolving.
But no, this song really does kind of jack you off behind the
That's right.
dumpster, is what you're saying. Yeah.
It's a great song for a back alley handy. I made sure to click explicit on the podcast just in case that for moments like this. So
Good. Because boy, we just explicited.
So we both like In the Air Tonight. And where do you come out on the Miami Vice theme?
I mean, it's okay.
Right. Okay. It doesn't have illicit negative or positive emotions. It's just like something to listen to.
Yeah, no, it's not, because there are songs in our bracket that I would, if I wasn't listening to it for this, I would hit skip in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
I probably wouldn't hit skip on Miami Vice.
Okay.
But, you know,
Because it's so short, and you know it would take you longer to find the skip button than it would to actually skip it, right?
I'm not listening to it on a loop.
Right. And
I'll put it that way.
I have a soft spot for Miami Vice theme because back in the 80s, my buddy Steve Bevilacqua, shout out, Steve! Steve and I did a movie called Ellsworth Vice. Ellsworth Township was the place that I happened to live, very close to Joe. You were just outside the township.
I was in Berlin Center.
Yeah.
Just across the line.
Yeah, just across the line. Anyway, we did a thing called Ellsworth Vice. I used the Miami Vice theme because, hey, it's an instrumental, so I didn't even have to change the lyrics to say Ellsworth. Right. But anyway, I've listened to this song hundreds of times trying to edit it from a cassette tape onto a VHS tape. Using those white and red cables, you know, and
oh, good God,
and trying to like hit record and play on the. Anyway, yeah, it was a pain in the ass.
It sounds like it.
Yeah,
it sounds like a goddamn nightmare.
And I then anyway, so I have a soft spot for it. I think if absent of having done that. I would feel almost exactly the way you feel about it. Like, yeah, it kind of rocks out for 50 seconds, and I associate it with the TV show a ton for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm positive on Miami Vice, but don't love it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So let's start discussing who's going to win this matchup. And
let's do it.
I talked about it being a huge mood setter.
Yeah.
We have a mutual friend who had a boyfriend back in high school. I'm going to keep the mutual friend anonymous because I'm probably going to screw up the retelling of this story. But the gist of the story that stuck in my head is this boyfriend was a football player, and he liked to kind of create this sense of this, you know, like of this importance around him getting ready for the game. And he would play the In the Air Tonight song and, like, you know, kind of sit there and stare off into space, like kind of become a different person.
Trying to borrow some depth from the song?
That is a perfect turn of phrase from the way I believe the story, to have understood the story that she was saying. And I believe that In the Air Tonight contributed to their breakup. No, I guess if it wasn't that song, it would have been Desperado. But
oh, dear God.
Or something. But it was not the song, it was the guy, obviously.
Right.
Trying to borrow depth and maybe like a sense of, you know, like, wow, look how complex and how tough that guy is. Yeah.
I gotta say, when I think of like pregame hype songs, this song does not fall into that category for me.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Anyway, our friend, was not buying into that act, and that relationship didn't end well, I guess, because that. I apologize to mutual friend X if I have distorted the facts of the story, but that's something
can
like
I just
a real
say,
story.
I have a very hard time picturing this person dating a football player in the first place.
I know. Yeah, well,
maybe the choices were limited in Ohio at the time.
Oh, for sure. That's for sure. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
So, talk to me about In the Air Tonight. Something, you know, maybe that we haven't already discussed, or expand on something that we have discussed. What are your thoughts?
All right, so a few things. First off, for me, you know, because we in our pilot episode, way back when, we talked about how certain artists we're not including because they transcend the 80s.
Yes.
You know, and there's a part of me that's like, well, does Phil Collins transcend the 80s?
He was in Genesis in the 70s.
That's right.
And he probably into the 90s.
I mean, he did the Tarzan movie in the 90s, right?
Oh, yeah. That whole Can You Feel the Love Tonight bullshit?
Something away, whatever that one is. Yeah. So there's that. I mean, I don't know. How do you feel? Do you feel like he is squarely, firmly 80s, or does he feel bigger than that to you?
Here's what it is. It's like my limited scope. My periscope came up and only saw him in the 80s and then stopped seeing him.
Right.
He may have been there before and after. I didn't see it. So it was kind of like my blinders that define him as an 80s artist, I guess.
That makes sense. And I can see that, and I have a similar awareness of him. I really didn't seek out earlier Phil or later Phil. I don't care.
Yeah, No Jacket Required was big for me, and then once I realized he was in Genesis and he sang some of those songs, like it was more recognizable to hear him in those, like Land of Confusion and that kind of that kind of era.
So there, one.
So
I'm
I'm saying I'll allow it. We can break our own rules anyway. So I'll allow Phil Collins as an artist in this. Why not?
Well, I wrote it as a question because I'm really not sure. I'm really not sure how I feel about it, and I'm still not. One other thing about this, and this is where listening to this on Amazon Music on my phone, lyrics pop up.
Oh, okay.
And sometimes some of the songs I've listened to, I'm like, well, clearly Amazon is full of shit on this because this is not what this song is saying. But this one, right? So let me ask you this.
Yeah.
After he says, "I can feel it coming in the air tonight," what are the next two words?
Oh, great question. You mean, well, one of the words is "oh," and I thought he was saying "oh Lord," I guess.
Okay. See, that's what Amazon has there. He's saying "oh Lord." My whole life, and over since this movie this song came out, and I've listened to it
hundreds of times,
a lot over the course of my life. It's been just there, and I swear to God, I always thought it was "hold on."
Oh, interesting.
I'm wrong, clearly, because that's not what you heard and that's not what Amazon heard. Maybe I'm the only person who thought that he said "hold on." I don't know.
Do you want me to find that and hear what it sounds like here?
Okay.
We can try to find one.
Okay.
Let's see. Man, come on now.
I can feel it coming in the air tonight. Oh Lord.
It's "oh Lord."
It's one of those things like once you read something, then when you hear it, you're always going to hear that now,
See,
right?
it's I guess maybe it's like the iconic dress, the
red and the blue and black
gray,
and versus the silver and white kind of look thing.
Yes, whatever the colors were, that thing. I don't know, but I'd be curious to find out what other people hear there because. Again, all my life, I heard "hold on."
When we get to the contact us bit at the end, definitely we love comments on like, this song blows, or this song is super 80s, or Joe, I thought he said "hold on" also because I'm a huge Wilson Phillips
I will
fan.
say, I kind of like "hold on" better than "oh Lord."
Yeah,
I like what it says more. Like, "Oh God, it's coming, hold on,
hold
on, shit, I'm dizzy."
Well, speaking of the lyrics, I have a factoid for you, Joe.
Oh, fact me some toys. Let's hear it.
So, at the time of the composition of In the Air Tonight, Phil was going through a divorce.
Oh, that poor bastard.
And so this anger and this sadness both are apparent in these kind of bleak chords that he's writing, like when we had this whole beginning thing when we listened to it earlier, and once it starts playing, it's kind of down. So I guess what he did is he got the chords just the way he liked them, and then he just decided to roll tape on the microphone. And according to Phil, quote, "I was just fooling around. I got the chords I liked, so I turned the mic on and started singing. The lyrics you hear are what I wrote spontaneously."
Wow.
On the first take, end quote. Said like 99%. He changed a couple of prepositions or something, but
that's like a moment from a biopic.
Yeah.
You would see Phil, and then it just comes to him.
Yeah, just improvised. So the
Wait a minute, Keith. we need to make a Phil Collins biopic.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Wow.
That's not bad. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who could play Phil Collins? Our friend Dan Matt. Hope you're listening, Dan.
Boy, I don't know. Don Johnson?
Oh, someone famous. I was like thinking of casting people we know.
Oh, yeah. No. Those losers. No. No, Don Johnson should play him. Definitely.
All right. That would be incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. We could call it Getting My Phil. No. All right. We'll workshop it.
We'll workshop it big time.
Workshop it. Yeah.
Speaking of Phils, I think you had a Phil that you wanted to focus on.
I do, and because I feel like for people our age, air drumming is in our blood. It's something we do.
It's huge.
Just we can't stop ourselves. And I've tried to stop myself, but this song contains what has to be for me like a top 5 air drum opportunity.
You're right. Because the Prince of Darkness, Ozzy Osbourne himself, has called this the best drum fill in the history of music.
Wow.
And what we're talking about is over 3 minutes of this tension building up.
Yep.
And then it's, I'm going to say, resolved.
Thank you for that.
Right. We're not going to say that he hands us a release.
Not a full release.
Not a full release. It's a resolution of the tension. And it goes, everybody knows it, but everybody wants to hear it also.
Yes.
Get your drumsticks ready. Air drumsticks ready. I'm going to give you a few seconds to get ready rather than drop you right on it. You ready, Joe?
I'm spinning my air drumstick right now.
Here we go.
With my fingers.
Oh, yeah.
The hurt doesn't show, but the pain still grows. Some strangers to you and me.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
That's good
Such
stuff.
a release. Such a release.
Wait, are you lighting a cigarette over there? Oh, man.
No, it's a joint.
So, those are some great things about In the Air Tonight.
Yes.
Last thing I wanted to mention about it is, did you ever hear about the urban legend surrounding In the Air Tonight?
I have not.
Apparently, Americans...
What is this urban legend of which you speak?
Yeah, Americans made up this story based on the lyrics that Phil Collins witnessed a drowning from afar. Like, he was far enough away that he couldn't do anything about it. But that he witnessed an apathetic bystander who just allowed the swimmer to drown. And he went back, Phil, didn't do anything, went back and wrote a song instead of apprehending the guy. And then played the song in concert to out the bad guy.
That sounds very QAnon.
It's so stupid.
Yeah, no, because what actually happened, I actually have the download on this. I know what it is.
Yeah, please.
It's what actually happened is that he was at a wedding, and he saw another wedding guest eat about 5 times as much shrimp as she should have, leaving very little for other people. And that's what
he knew what was going to be in the air later that night.
That's right. Oh.
So these urban legends continue. Phil himself is completely baffled by it. He's like, dude, I just made up the lyrics in one take. That's it. Anyway. So a great case for In the Air Tonight there.
Yes.
Now, Miami Vice theme. How 80s is it to not even play any instruments? It's all computers and keyboard, and none of it sounds like a key. Well, some of it does. Yeah. But a lot of it is like these weird noises.
Yep, it's just a lot of bells and bumps there.
Yeah.
All right. So to start off with, the show Miami Vice was just like a cultural force.
Totally.
And,
absolutely.
Being the theme song to it, it is of course, very very much tied to the show. I mean, we in the early 80s, we watched the crap out of this show. It was like the coolest thing to hit TV in a long time, and it was huge. It
was the exact opposite of like Murder, She Wrote, right? I mean, that's what my mom was watching And I wanted to watch Miami Vice because it was way slicker, cooler. It was the exact opposite of Ellsworth Township, Ohio.
Right. And Jessica Fletcher is never going to pop a cap in someone's ass.
That's right. Not even once.
Just not. No.
She never carried the entire series, as far as I know.
And you know what? Maybe there wouldn't have been so many murders if she'd been armed. First Amendment rights left on the table. Thanks, Jessica Fletcher.
Good point.
God damn it.
So, yeah, you were saying the fashion, right? I hear this song, I think of white sport coats with the sleeves pushed up.
Absolutely. Oh, my God. What Don Johnson did for Stubble.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And what Philip Michael Thomas did for whatever his hairstyle was called.
I don't know. Just being there also.
He was also
what
there.
He did for being there also, yeah.
Yeah, he really did that. But yeah, I obviously thought it was so cool that I wanted to make my own version of it in rural Ohio, as ridiculous as that sounds. If one person...
What's so great is that I know for a fact that the film still exists and that you have this piece of video.
It's on YouTube. I mean, if somebody wants it, I can post it on the Substack. If
I think you must. I think you have.
I think I have to.
Yes, there's no choice.
It's awesome. It's awesome in how terrible it is, but it's like we didn't even finish it, Joe. We couldn't even finish. I couldn't get Bevilacqua to commit to even finishing one episode.
I mean,
it's
that's
a third of an
brand.
episode. Yeah, so it's pretty bad. But yeah, so the song itself, like the 80s-ishness of it, especially in the... I like some aspects of that full-length version a little better, and I think you have some notes on that as well.
No, it's like... I mean, it's pretty consistent throughout. I like it. The one thing, like, there's... Around the 2-minute mark, there's something...
Let me play in... The long version kind of gives you this different... it builds a little more tension to start. It like gives you a little something, but it doesn't give it all to you. And so it is a slightly different version, whereas the TV version just comes out and, balls to the wall, goes for it.
Right.
But anyway.
So maybe that's the better version for people to listen to.
I don't know, but this one is 2.5 minutes. And as you can see, it hasn't even gotten to, like, the main riff.
There it is.
So anyway... What timestamp did you want to check out?
Around 2 minutes.
All right.
A little after 2 minutes.
All right, here we go. 2 minutes.
Right there. I can't tell. It sounds to me like something like there's a car dragging cans behind it.
Yeah, or somebody's throwing bottles down a staircase or something.
Right, and it just doesn't seem to belong in there. I don't know.
But it does have a cool ending.
So, for you, that ending is very cool. For me, it sounds like he just didn't know what the hell else to do.
So he just pulled the ripcord musically.
Yeah, it's like,
boom.
Yeah, boom.
For me, I like it cinematically because it's going super fast.
Right.
Super fast, and then it like slams the brakes on, and you just go flying by, which is great. Because I'm doing all these action shots, and then I, bang, cut to a church at dusk. You'll see it, guys. You'll see it.
Yeah, the majesty that is Ellsworth Vice.
And then you get that long fade out to, like, contemplate what you've just been through, I like that we have differing opinions on the ending here. It's good. We don't need a podcast where we just yes each other. Yes.
No, of course not. That would be dull.
That would be so dull. So
yeah.
So that's Miami Vice theme. It's tied to that vibe, that feel, which is such an 80s feel.
It's incredibly 80s. Yeah.
And so I guess it's time for us to render a verdict on this. And what are your thoughts, Joe?
Oh boy. Well, if it comes down to it, they're both really 80s.
Yeah.
To me, just the fact that the song that had the bigger impact on me in the 80s, that's probably what tips it. So I'm going with Phil Collins and In the Air Tonight. That gets my vote for the 80s-er
of the two.
these two songs. Yeah.
Well, this is tougher for me than it should be, honestly. This should not be that difficult. But it's almost
But you've got
like...
a history. You've got a history with the Miami Vice theme.
I do. Jan Hammer, I feel like I'm letting him down because he understood the assignment. He checked off every possible 80s tech specification. The reverb,
Absolutely.
the flanging, the gating, all this digital cool shit. Soft synth, hard synth, guitar synth. He did it all. I should vote for him, but it's a 51% vote for Phil Collins in the air tonight for me.
All right. Wow. We are in agreement.
We're in agreement on this one, and it's another one where I'm really tight on that vote. So that is our vote. So right now, if nobody else votes, it's 2-0. Phil Collins wins.
It's a runaway. But other people maybe feel different.
That's possible.
And so they're going to let us know by going to our Substack. Go to substack.com/@the80sist. That's THE80SEST. You can follow us on social media. You can look for us on Facebook. Just look for the 80sist podcast. You can find us on Threads at the 80sest on Threads. So that's at THE_80S_
That's right.
EST on Threads.
Now, for those of us, we are Gen Xers.
Yes.
Some folks might not even know Threads is like the Instagram alternative to X, formerly known as Twitter. So, just
but those
that
of
out
us with a social conscience who left
X, yeah,
right, are over on Threads.
Over on Threads,
it's okay there. It's okay.
Yeah,
it's kind of Twitter methadone.
Yeah, that's a great description of it, actually. Yeah. I still haven't fully figured it out, making the threads, but that's all right.
It's pretty simple.
Yeah,
you just hit the button and do the thing,
and then there you go.
Yeah.
What if somebody wanted to just talk to us in private?
So like an email, old folks do?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Well, then you would go to, you would email us at the80sist@gmail.com. That's THE80SEST@gmail.com.
Nice. Now, I've created a Spotify account for the 80sist, and it has all the playlists for all the regions.
That's a lot.
So you can just sit down and hit play and listen to all 16 in any given region. So that's cool.
Right. And while you're doing all this listening and or reading, please hit like to let them know that you like us, and you can subscribe.
It also, really helps us because we have really weak egos and we need them to be stroked constantly. So
that's right. Much like Phil Collins behind the dumpster before he gets that full release.
Exactly right. So all that stuff that we just talked about, it's much easier than it sounds. Basically, just click subscribe and keep listening to us, and you're good to go.
Yep.
So I think that's going to be all for today's show. Went a little bit longer than we probably intended, probably because I can't shut up about Phil Collins.
Who can?
I mean, come on. So that's it for today's show. Join us next time on the 80sist when we will preview our entire next new region, the band's region.
I can't wait.
Until then, on behalf of Joe, this has been Keith at Sonny Crockett saying, you gotta know the rules before you can break them. Otherwise, it's no fun.
That's a much better John Johnson.
Hey, punk! Cowboy! I'm gonna have your badges for this, that's a promise!
Been a long time coming anyway.